Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 23 updates and spoilers. It is the last one of the season. Oh my god! It's finale day, so turn it up. We're gonna celebrate. But first, our house guests of the day are Wilson Matthias, Rachel McClung, Nate Swisher, Charlie Cutler, and then we have Catherine B, Yvonne Rodriguez, and Maria Elena Orbea. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. And I really hope that I got to everyone this season. I went through my list so many times to try and make sure that everybody was on there. So if we did forget to mention you this season and you did support us on Patreon, please leave us a comment and we will try and get you in tonight's recap live stream. But seriously, thank you all so much. All of our patrons, you guys are amazing. Okay, so I can't believe we've made it here. My goodness. I also, before we get started, want to thank all of yesterday's super chatters because that has been a fantastic way to support our channel this season and keep us going. So Vajrath, Jody Cortez, Jefferson Tucker, The Real VB, AR Chan 1785, Yanil Gonzalez, Angie Burke, Trisha C, Tim Razor, Dawn MH302, Amy Glassner, Darby C, Megan J.A., Pizzy, DC May 522, Laura G, John Shut Your Mouth Lol, the T of Texas, Jody Cortez, Carla S, Samuel Johnson, Beth Moore, and Vajra. Thank you all so much for your super chats yesterday. And oh my goodness, I see you guys are out of control already today. Thank you in advance for the super chats. You guys are awesome. And I will be answering all of your questions and everything. I'm going to save it for the end again today because I think that worked really well yesterday. But you guys, seriously, like the generosity and the support really does make me want to cry. But I'm going to try not to because nobody wants that right now. So, like I said, it's finale day. Tonight, Big Brother will crown its first African-American winner of a regular season. Obviously, we already saw Tamar won season 2 of Celebrity Big Brother, which was awesome. Love that season so much. But tonight, it's a historic night, you know? First African-American winner for a regular season. It's a big deal. And that winner will be Xavier, Azah, or Big D. So Xavier and Azah will be facing off in part 3 of the final HOH competition. And whoever wins that will decide who's going to join them in the final 2. So as we've previously discussed, Xavier is planning on taking Big D for that slam dunk win, right? Originally, Azah was also planning on taking Big D, and I believe she would beat him as well. But since he's been treating her like crap lately, she's not sure if she still wants to do that. She is really upset that he said that she doesn't deserve to be in the final 2. She feels like he's just kind of like been a jerk to her lately in general, which he has. And Azah was saying yesterday that she was leaning towards picking Xavier because she would not feel good about Xavier getting 3rd place, even if it meant that she was going to lose next to him, you know? She knows like she'd probably have a really good chance of beating Big D in the final 2, but she is so not feeling good about Big D that she is willing to give up winning if it means that she'd be sitting next to Xavier in the end. That's absolutely freaking wild. I feel like Azah has kind of like lost the plot here a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. So anyway, she's also telling Xavier, if you win part 3, I'm okay with you sticking with your deal with Big D and taking him to the end. You know, I'm fine with getting 3rd place. You should honor your deal. It's all good. So Big D is pissed that Azah might not take him, even though he has said many times that he has never had a deal with Azah and that he would have picked Xavier if it was up to him, which is, it's so ridiculous that he's expecting anything from Azah in return. So yeah, he thinks that she's changing her mind now because of her crush on Xavier and she's gotten to cuddle up with him more this week. And Azah is not happy hearing this from Big D. It's pretty insulting to her. She wants him to know, if I do pick Xavier, it's not because of the crush. It's because I don't want him to get third place. I feel like he's done more for the cookout and he deserves more than third place. But I have to say, Big D is making a lot of sense when he tells Azah to pick him if she wants to win. He's like, why are you just handing the money to Xavier? Like, what's going on here? So we'll see what Azah decides to do, or maybe we won't. Because again, it's all going to depend who wins part 3 of the final HOH competition. If Xavier wins part 3, he's just going to take Big D to the end. So all of this Azah back and forth would be for naught. But anyway, yesterday afternoon, Big D is putting more Neosporin on those knees. I can't. I need to see this part 2 competition where Big D's knee skin was melting, because how many tubes has this dude gone through already of Neosporin? It's been insane. But he was talking to the cameras and he's like, damn, I guess I did it to myself. Yes, you did. He says it really sucks. I thought that I was going to be able to help my mom. I came from a very difficult background growing up, and I feel really bad that he was planning on using his winnings to help his mom pay off her medical bills. But at the same time, he should be walking away with a pretty good chunk of change, even if he does get third place. And again, he could still get second. But third place, like, they still get a prize. He had winnings from that one power veto competition. He's got his stipend. So it's not like he's going home empty-handed no matter what. Nobody who's still in this game is going to be going home empty-handed. But he says none of this was ever promised to me, and I'm thankful that I made it this far. And he says, I thought once I got past final 5 that I would make it to the final 2. And now he's like, my game is over. I played the best that I could. I've never had to depend on other people this much in my real life. So he's like, this is a new thing for me. And he says, I made a friend in here. I wasn't expecting that. And then he says, I thought making a friend would always mean a lot, and they'd always have my back, even when I'm at my worst. And now I'm at my worst, and that friend doesn't have my back. And it sucks, and it hurts a lot. Dude, you wouldn't have picked her for final 2. So, like, how good of a friend? Like, why are you expecting her to pick you? You had no deal. It's just ridiculous that he's expecting all this in return from her, but he would not do the same if he were in her position. But he says, I'm so defeated. I'm so hurt. I don't know what to do. And he says, I don't want to beg. I don't want to guilt. I don't want to do any of that. But he will. And I pray that God will give me strength no matter what the outcome is. And I pray that God will help both individuals make the right decision. You know, whoever wins the final competition. Sorry, I was thinking for a second. He says, I'm so beat. I'm so torn. I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness. All right. So later, Azah was chatting with Xavier on the living room couch. They're all cuddled up, and she's talking about how she's having a hard time with this decision. I'm getting flashbacks to last week with Big D going back and forth. Honestly, Xavier deserves to win at this point, just for dealing with Azah and Big D the last few weeks. My goodness. So Azah has come up with some like plan that she wants to propose to Big D. So she's asking Xavier for his thoughts on it, and she's like, what if we ask Big D who he wants to go to the end with, taking deals, relationships, and friendships out of the equation? So just like, who does he want to be at the end with? And if that person wins part 3, they take Big D to the end. And if the other person wins part 3, then they take the other person, like, not Big D. What? Like, this is so weird. Whoever wins should just take who they want. What's with all these, like, this mental gymnastics? It's a little bit insane. And also, why are we making deals like this in the 11th hour? Whoever wins that competition makes their decision. But Xavier's like, I'm pretty sure Big D would still say that he wants to go to the end with me because he thinks that he has a better chance against me than he does against you. So it would be like the same situation anyway. There's no point to propose this deal. In a way, I just feel like Azah is looking for some sort of a justification to take Xavier to the end because she knows like Big D is going to want to go to the end with Xavier. So she has like this deal in place. She can take Xavier to the end if it's up to her without Big D being upset about it. I feel like that's probably part of it too, but this whole thing is just It's a bit much. So Xavier says, I think that Big D moping around like this is gameplay. Yes. And he says, Big D is trying to guilt trip you. Yes. So he reminds Azah if the roles were reversed and Big D was potentially making this decision, he would take me to the end, not you. And you would not be guilt tripping him to try and change his mind the way that he is doing this to you. So Xavier also brings up how before Big D was saying he would have been fine getting third place behind Xavier and Kyland. But now, for some reason, he's not cool with potentially getting third place to Azah and Xavier. He should be happy that his friend is making it further in the game than Kylan would be. So, like, what's going on here? And honestly, Xavier spilled when he was saying all this. Yeah, why would Big D be so upset to finish third to Azah and Xavier, but not Kylan and Xavier? So he says to Azah, if you win the competition, you get to decide what you want to do. So then Xavier's bringing up how Big D has been saying that he needs the money to help his mom. And Xavier says, if I win and Big D gets third place, I would use some of the money to help Big D's mom. I'm not just going to like leave him out to dry. And he's telling Azah, like, obviously I can't say that to Big D and let him know that I would help him out because it's against the rules. But like, isn't it also kind of against the rules to be saying that to Azah? Because he's also making her feel more comfortable about potentially picking him by telling her this, But anyway, that is nice of him to want to help out Big D and his mom. But anyway, Xavier keeps telling Azah, do not feel bad about your decision. I know Big D is trying to guilt you, but you got to do what you got to do. We're all here for our own reasons. So later, Big D makes official pitches to Xavier and Azah. And Xavier's telling Big D, you don't have to pitch to me. I'm already taking you to the end. You don't have to do this. But Big D is like, no, I need to pitch to both of you guys. It's good karma. So he does it anyway. And Big D says, we've been working together since day one. I did this whole entire game with you. I've had your back no matter what. I've done everything you've asked me to do. And he says, I'm fighting for my mom, who has a lot of hospital bills. And Xavier's like, I wouldn't go that route with other people when you're campaigning. I wouldn't bring up your mom because, we ourselves have not liked when Tiffany brought up her son in the past. But this was weird because Xavier said Tiffany brought up her daughter, but what? Like, I think he just made a mistake in that moment. But he was like, yeah, me and you, we didn't like when she did that. So, like, you shouldn't be doing that now. But anyway, Big D says, okay, fine. If the shoe was on the other foot and I was the one making the decision here, I would not break our deal. I would want to go to the end with you. And he says, I want to go to the end and duke it out like gentlemen. So Big D says, I've never been selfish, blah, 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 blah. And Xavier's like, I'm sold. You got my vote. Whatever. I'll take you to the end. Okay. So then Big D pitches to Azah. And he tells Azah, I've been with you since the beginning. And he says, I'm at your mercy at this point. And I hope that all I have done for you has been enough for you to find the graces in your heart to consider me if you do win part 3. And he says, I hope my resume shows that I've been loyal to you. I've been a dear friend of yours this whole game. So he says, if you don't pick me, I understand. I can't say that I'm going to recover easily, but at some point in my life, I will. Oh my God. So dramatic. So dramatic. So it's pretty much all the same stuff that he's been saying. This time he cries at the end when he's like, thank you for a wonderful summer. I appreciate you and everything you've done. It just feels very fake. I don't know. But anyway, he said he was going to keep it short, but then he came back for another longer round of campaigning like 10 minutes later. And again, it was pretty much the same stuff that we've been hearing the last few days, the same guilt trip, more tears. And it really seems at this point to be bothering Azah that Big D is trying to get her and Xavier to take him to the end. But like, that's how it generally goes. Wouldn't you want to campaign to both? But it's bothering her that he has 2 opportunities to go to the end and she feels like she only has one opportunity at this point. You know, she's got to win her way to the end. But that's just like how it is right now, you know? Anyway, she said that she would only be pitching to Big D if she were in his position. And she also said, I feel like I've just been kind of like a safety net for you. I would agree with that. But Big D is like, well, I feel alone and I feel like I got played. I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh, I've had a final two deal with Xavier this whole entire time, blah, 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 and then say, oh, I feel alone. What? Also, when Big D all season was like, oh, I'm on an island, I'm by myself. You've had all these final two deals, so stop. But Azah was still undecided after Big D's campaigning. So then Xavier checks in with Azah again. And Azah says, my mind is racing. I feel like shit right now because Big D is really laying it on thick with the guilt trip. And she says, I've been praying and asking God what to do. And he hasn't been saying much except, you need to study. So, seriously though, I need to know, has Azah been studying or working on a final two speech at all? Or has she just been wasting time going back and forth trying to decide if she would take Xavier or Big D to the end? Yeah. Imagine Big D really was a mastermind and he was like campaigning nonstop to Azah and like having all these conversations as a way of like keeping her from studying so that Xavier would win part 3 because he knows Xavier would take him. I know he's not doing that, but imagine. Now that would be some strategy right there. That would be some mastermind shit. But anyway, Xavier is encouraging Azah, make the best decision for yourself. Even if that means picking Big D, I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other. You need to do what's best for you. So Azah was agonizing over this decision last night. It was exhausting. I'm just going to leave it at that because we've heard all the details already. We've heard both sides of it, you know, trying to figure out what she's going to do, but it's too much. So then this morning, nothing too crazy happening. Azah was working on a speech, so that's good. I'm assuming at this point she's still planning on taking Xavier to the end if she wins part 3 because she didn't tell anyone or us otherwise. Xavier still planning on taking Big D. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. But the house guests said goodbye to the live feedsters, and the feeds went down at 10 a.m. Big Brother time. So turn it up. They did play that music that they played on the first night of feeds, which was a nice like full circle moment. Yeah, so we've got lots to look forward to tonight. I'm really excited to see what the jury roundtable is going to be like, especially like when Kyland meets up with the rest of the jury. And I want to hear what everybody has to say about the final three's games. We've got part 3 of the final HOH competition. And of course, we're going to see part 2 as well, but we already know how that ended. But yeah, part 3, then the decision, who's going to the final 2. Then we'll have the jury questioning and final speeches, which should be pretty darn interesting. And then the first African-American winner will be crowned, which is super exciting. And also, we'll find out who won America's Favorite Player. Tiffany. I really hope it's Tiffany or DX. Please. Yeah. So that's it. Oh my goodness. So I want to thank everyone so much for watching. I want to thank all of our patrons this season. I want to thank all of our super chatters this season because you guys you guys have been so supportive. And when I say that we couldn't have done this without you, I really genuinely mean that.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. Oh, Bowie. Okay.
It's all Bowie.
Yes. So before we get into...
No, you have to answer the question. I didn't write them.
Oh, right. Okay. So before I get into all of my other thank yous, which I do have quite a few, I also want to thank today's super chatters and answer all y'all's questions. So Vajra, thank you so much for the super chat. And Vajra says, thought I should balance things out from yesterday and make a more fun random inquiry today. Which musical is your biggest guilty pleasure and why? That's a great question. I don't know if I have like a guilty pleasure one because what? I don't feel guilty about loving any of my
but
any musicals. My favorite in general? I don't know, but I guess, like, guiltiness. When I first saw Mamma Mia, I was like, wow, this is so cheesy, but I also loved it. But at this point, I don't feel guilty about it anymore. So it's tough to say. I don't know. I love all of them.
I would say Company.
You feel like Company is a guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
That's just a straight up pleasure. It's wonderful. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'm sure there's something that I'm like, oh, I'm a little embarrassed about loving this, but I'd need more time to think about it. That's a good question. Tommy, thank you so much. And Tommy says, Maddie, thank you so much for all your hard work all summer long. You're welcome. I'm glad your cough is gone, and I hope you and Janet enjoy the finale tonight. Go
Is it
X.
gone?
It is gone for the most part. Every once in a while, I'll have a random fit of coughing, but seriously, thank you guys for sticking with us through my sickness this summer. I can't believe how long that freaking cough stuck around. It was too much. I think I lost a few pounds just from coughing.
It was like a fart in a spacesuit.
It was too much, but thank you so much again, Tommy. Vajra, thank you again. And Vajrat says, for myself, I would probably say High School Musical. I've actually never seen High School Musical all the way through. But I could see how that would be like a guilty pleasure. Seems a bit silly now, but it was such a fun time back in the day, and it's still nostalgic to me. I definitely want to watch that series on Disney Plus, the High School Musical, the musical, whatever, you know what I mean? But I feel like I need to watch High School Musical before we check that out.
High School Musical, the musical?
Yeah. No, that's what it's called.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you again, Vajrath. Carolyn Harmon, thank you so much. And thank you for watching our updates this season. Jefferson Tucker, so generous. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys haven't already seen Jefferson's compilation that he put together of some of our really early puppet theater
and some awkward endings.
Awkward endings. That was a lot of fun too. Jefferson, you add so much to this community, and we really appreciate you.
Is a wizard of video.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you for being my stage manager this summer.
Yes.
Alex Garza, thank you so much. Oh, I see TV Talks with Tom is in here too. Hey, TV Talks, Tom. Alex Garza, thank you so much. And Alex says, I can't believe it's already ending until next year, right? Well, we've got Celebrity Big Brother starting
next year.
It is next year. In the winter. That should be fun. Michelle C, thank you so much. And Michelle says, last live, can't wait for Survivor.
That's not the last live.
Yeah, actually we'll be doing our recap live tonight at 11:20 p.m. Eastern.
Will Janelle check in?
I don't know if I can handle that. But that should be fun if you guys want to join us for that. Anita Starr, thank you so much for the super chat. Janet Joseph, thank you so much. And thank you for watching our updates this summer.
Where can they see the puppet show compilation?
Go to, I believe it's bbpuppets.com. That should redirect you directly to the video. Or if you want to search.
Is it BB Puppet Flashback? Search?
No. Big Brother Puppet Show Theater Flashback.
Okay.
I believe it should come up on YouTube if you search for that.
Could you stop eating the bicycle?
Bowie, what are you doing, silly? Steve Schultz, thank you so much for the super chat. And Steve says, if Azah wins part 3 and takes Xavier, who do you think would vote for her? That's a really good question. I feel like in that situation, Xavier would still win, but it's possible that Azah could get a vote here or there. I think maybe, yeah, Brittany would probably vote for her still. Other than that, though, I think Xavier would really get most of the votes.
I guess Big D's not going to vote for Azah.
I don't see Big D voting for Azah in that scenario. I think he's going to be bitter, but I think he also believes Xavier deserves it over Azah. So, yeah, I think she'd probably get Brittany, but other than that, I don't know if she would get anybody else.
You were correct. It's Big Brother Puppet Show Theater Flashback.
Okay. Lisa, thank you so much. And Lisa says, thank you, Maddie and Janet, for another great season of spoilers. It's my 6th year watching. Oh my God, Lou! And I love you guys. Well, we love you too. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Ed M, thank you so much for the super chat. And Ed says, thank you for making Big Brother so much fun this season. Maddie and Janet, y'all rock. And see you on winter for Celebrity Big Brother. Absolutely. Should be fun.
We'll be around for lots of other things.
We will be.
Too,
Yeah.
including Veganuary.
Yes, of course. Christine, thank you so much. Christine says, thanks for another great year, Maddie and Janet. It's my 3rd year with you. Yay! My question, how do you feel about Julie's religious references during episodes? We've talked about it before. Honestly, I feel like it's inappropriate.
It's polarizing.
I think it's inappropriate to bring up on the show. I mean, it's one thing if one of the house guests is like, oh, thank you, God, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah,
fine. But Julie as the host saying stuff like that, it's, I don't know. It's a bit much. It's a bit much for me. I feel like it's inappropriate, but I'm sure.
Would you say it's unprofessional?
I feel like it's a little unprofessional, but.
What did they say in journalism school?
Don't do that. So, I don't think she should be doing that, but that's just my opinion. NM1000, thank you so much for the super chat. You're amazing. Let me see. Vajra, thank you again for the super chat. And they asked, will you be covering the upcoming Celebrity Big Brother? We are planning on it. Also, have they announced yet when that's premiering? I don't know the exact premiere date. I'm assuming it's going to compete with the Winter Olympics.
The Olympics.
I think that's why they brought it back, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why they brought it back, but we'll see. I'm sure they'll be making an announcement fairly soon about that. Mm-hmm. John S., thank you so much. And John asks, who do you want to win Tiff for America's Favorite? Yeah, I want to see Tiffany win America's Favorite. She is my choice. Question. Okay.
If for some reason the Olympics are postponed or canceled
because of COVID,
will Celebrity Big Brother still happen?
I think so.
Unless it's for the same reason that the Olympics are getting.
I think they'd still try and do it. I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't really think about that. Mm-hmm. Sunflower Seeds, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, keep it up. So keep it up. Latoya L, thank you so much for the super chat. Latoya says, just my opinion, but I'm disappointed that Azah and Big D made it to the final 3. It was kind of a bummer, right? It's hard to see people that you feel are really deserving of winning get cut early, and then you have people kind of get dragged to the end. It is kind of a bummer, so I see what you're saying there, but it is what it is at this point, right? So we'll see what happens. DC May 522, thank you so much. I'm glad you're excited for tonight. It should be a lot of fun, right? Mm-hmm. Good times. Jefferson Tucker, thank you again so much. Oh, he said, TV Talks with Tom made me cry today. It was so good. That's so cute. Honestly, seeing everybody's posts on like Twitter and stuff about like, oh my God, the season's over. It is emotional because we're so heavily invested in this for like 3 months of our lives. And I honestly got a little teary-eyed today when I was just closing out all my tabs. And then part of it was just relief. But
tears of joy?
I mean, partially, yeah. It's stressful, but yeah, no, it's definitely an emotional time at the end of the season for sure. Let me see. Oh, and I just want to mention too, TV Talks with Tom. I saw your tweet tagging all of our fellow YouTubers and everybody, and I'm not ignoring it. I just didn't get to it yet. I'm gonna be
getting to it after this.
I am planning on getting to my social media and catching up with everybody right after I call my grandma after this. So I didn't forget you. Don't worry. But I really appreciated you tagging me in that tweet. It was very, very sweet. Latoya L, thank you again so much. And Latoya says, maybe I missed you telling us, but how come you didn't do the puppet show this year? That is a good question. Partially it was just because we were so busy this summer. We did come out with our first cookbook, the plant-based air fryer cookbook. We've got a link below if you're interested. So that took up a lot of our extra time that we would normally try to do the puppet shows.
Are very time intensive.
They especially on weekends.
Right.
So it's a squeeze as it is in a regular season, but because we had that going on this summer, also this is the first summer that my boyfriend is living back in New York, so I actually get to see him in person. So that took up all of my extra time as well, where we would be able to maybe squeeze out some puppet shows.
And the climate.
Also just social. Like, I feel like
We're beyond that.
We have to move on from that because it just didn't feel right.
It didn't feel funny.
It didn't. I mean, from a standpoint of actually making the puppet shows, I mean, we see even on TV shows and movies how it's like weird now to have people portraying characters of like different races and things like that. So I didn't feel like it was appropriate for us to voice like African American house guests, and we've done it in the past,
and we've taken flack over it.
Yeah, and I felt like it wasn't really appropriate. You know, we've moved on from that. And also just with everyone watching it, is this going to be received positively? I'm sure there's some people who would, of course, love to have seen puppet shows. And then there's some people who would be like, ugh, I don't know about that.
Cringe.
Honestly, myself, I would kind of be like, ugh, I don't know about that. So we just felt like it wasn't appropriate. And
it may be replaced by something else in the future.
Yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. But
it has to.
It just didn't feel right.
It has to be organic.
Yeah.
You know, we can't. You can't force it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not good.
Don't
force it.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if you guys were disappointed that there was no puppet theater this season.
I was kind of disappointed too, but I really did not want to kill myself. Because literally, it's Saturday the entire day.
Yeah.
And then I hated myself Saturday night because I didn't get anything else done.
Tommy, thank you again so much for the super chat. And Tommy says one more because I love you and your mom so much. Oh, been a viewer for probably like 10 years now. Oh my goodness. Much love to you too. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Running away.
Yeah, seriously. And Dwayne, oh my God, thank you. Lots of love to Canada. You're amazing. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes.
We love Canada.
Yes. All right. So that's where we're at. Oh, I gotta do my thank yous.
Don't forget to join us tonight.
Yeah, well, I got that in here. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so thank you again to all of our super chatters and all of our patrons and everybody who just like watches quietly and like doesn't comment or anything. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I just gotta say, Carl's in the chat. Carl, we've been thinking about you.
Oh, yes.
Carl Van Bergen.
Yes.
Hope everything's okay.
I want to thank Mom. As always, I could not do this with anyone else.
I want to thank you for being amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
I'm not going to say the best daughter because that's just going to cause problems.
And it's not true. But I also want to thank Bowie and Lucy. They're not in here right now, but they're the best pups. They're so cute, and it's always fun to have them like in the crew for these. They're the best babies. I want to thank my family. And I want to thank my boyfriend for being amazing and working around my crazy schedule and putting up with my BS during Big Brother seasons, especially. I love you all so much. And I want to thank all of our fellow recappers. And I'm saying sorry in advance for forgetting people because I know I will. Jolene Lunzer, Matt.
Live right now, I believe.
Oh, is she?
I think so.
Jolene. I love you. I'm so excited for all the stuff that you have. Jolene. Yes, I'm so excited for all the stuff you have coming down the pike. It's really very, very exciting. Matt and Jess Carter, you guys are also amazing. I
admire them so much as well, and I'm so happy that they're able to work together.
I know.
That's my dream
for
my husband and I.
I love that. And you guys are like,
I wouldn't give you up, but
yeah, you would. Matt and Jess are like the sweetest people ever. TV Talks with Tom, who's here right now. Thank you so much.
Taylor British accent.
Yes, adding the British flair. Love that. It's always fun to get someone's perspective from another country. Yeah, it's really, really neat. And you do such a great job. Miranda from Honestly Honecker. You're awesome. I love Miranda's
daughter.
Oh my God, yes. Adorable.
So cute.
And Miranda is really into astrology, which is very fun.
Does she do tarot?
I don't know. We'll have to look into that, but she's really been focusing on the astrology a lot lately, and I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are into that, make sure you check out her channel and support her. Sarah from Nerdtainment. Amazing. You are such a rock star.
Love it.
Busy Blue. Love
Sassy.
You. Yes. And Jess Milagros, you are so awesome too. And I'm so glad that she started making videos because she does a great job. And it's cool to have somebody who's been on the inside, you know, talking about the show. So those are all of our YouTube friends, but I also want to give a big shout out to some of my favorite print updaters and recappers. Hamster Watch, one of the OGs. She's still killing it. She's incredible. And she's such a huge supporter of so many other recappers and updaters. Online Big Brother, I love their work. They do such a great job. BB Updates, of course, fantastic. BB Live Updaters, also on Twitter, fantastic. You all make my season so special every year. Like it would not be the same without all of you guys and all of your work.
It would make your job miserable.
Yes, my job would also be a lot more difficult. So I really appreciate everybody's input. And of course, Rap, of course. Taryn and Rap, they do a fantastic job. Yeah, so
Jefferson Tucker, one last thing, would like to know if he should pull the one scene from BB21, the Cam comeback reference. And I would say no.
I don't know. I think that's
appropriate.
Yeah. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you again for the other super chat, Jefferson. Okay, I think we've said all of our things. Yeah, Cliff Hogg too, absolutely. Cliff Hogg. I told you guys I was going to forget people, so I'm just very tired. It's been a long, not only 3 months, but this whole entire year. Super, super busy.
It has been a crazy year.
Yeah.
It has been a crazy
Couch Potato Queens, yes, absolutely, 100%. So thank you all again so much. We will see you tonight for the finale. And again, we will be live with our recap at 11:20 p.m. Eastern.
1120, daughter.
That's right. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see you all there. And I also want to say, if you're not already vaccinated, get vaccinated. Wear masks. Do your part. It's not just about us. It's about everybody.
If you can't bring yourself to get vaccinated, at least wear a mask.
Yes.
Please. We're begging you.
Do your part to keep everybody safe. All right. So we'll see you later. And until next time, much love. Bye. One more awkward sign off, or there will be another one later, but bye.